Hey everyone, in this video we just want to briefly remind you all how to shift your mindset when you're kind of down in the dumps because maybe you made a mistake. And to help us explain this, we have our cats because they're both being incredibly needy right now and won't leave us alone. So with that being said, whenever you make a mistake, kind of like one of the default reactions, I think, for most people is to hyper focus in on that mistake and
obsess almost.
Yeah, obsess, maybe catastrophize and make
black
them
and white thinking.
Yeah,
I'm horrible. There's nothing good about me.
Yeah, like just feeling like a complete and utter failure. And it is kind of a default thing because if you make a mistake and it's actually something that you care about, then you're going to feel bad about it. And so it's normal to feel bad about it. It is, but we get into how we respond to that feeling of inadequacy is where kind of your habits come into play. Most people get into the habit of really hammering down on that failure and making themselves think that they are worthless or insecure because of it, which only perpetuates this negative spiral loop of emotions. And
it leads to like giving up, not trying anymore.
Just exactly.
Being more apathetic.
Yeah.
Not wanting to complete your tasks.
Right? Yeah, and then you start thinking about all these negative things, and it just feeds into the cycle, and it repeats.
Yeah. And it decreases your self-esteem, which it spirals.
Yeah. So this video is
about thought reframing.
Yeah, is about thought reframing. It's just a reminder to you that it's completely normal to feel a variety of emotions. Like, we have emotions for reasons, right? But you choose how you're able to respond to them. And so when you feel down in the dumps or whatever, or when you feel like a failure, you can respond differently. You can, tell yourself you made a mistake. Is that unique to you? No, everyone makes mistakes. Usually multiple times a day. Like, mistakes
it's really just retraining the brain to perceive these things in a more self-compassionate way. And this gets back to my phrase that I often say, that you need to reparent yourself, right? Treat yourself like a child. You hear that little voice in you saying you're a piece of shit. And then you're like, would you say that to a child?
Yeah, no. This is a really good point right here because one of the best ways to build compassion with yourself, especially if you're a perfectionist or someone with high expectations, is to treat yourself like, an 8 to 10-year-old. If you're sitting there and you make a mistake, regardless of what the mistake is, right? If you're talking to like another adult or whatever, it's a lot easier to be much more crash and degrading with them because they're an adult, right? But I mean, in reality, maybe you should talk to other adults like they're children.
Yeah.
And it's not meant to be patronizing or condescending. It's meant to show compassion, because I don't think that, I would argue that 98% of the people listening, whenever they interact with a child, they're much more reasonable, they're much more compassionate, and they're much more realistic about the situation. They say, look, mistakes happen.
Yeah, you're expected to make mistakes.
It doesn't mean you're a bad human. This is how you learn. Like, it's fine, you made a mistake, just how can you avoid doing it again? And you use these situations as learning opportunities. And you have the ability to do that with yourself.
And even as an adult, I do know a lot of people get stuck in the cycle. I've done this so many times. How can I keep doing this? Yeah. And we have to have compassion because there's neuropatterning that, like, usually it's very hard to rewire the brain after 25. And you have to have even more compassion after that age if you've engaged in this bad habit your entire life up until that point.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like, these are habits that need to be broken. They might not be actual physical habits. They're mental habits. Yep. It's the same wiring. It's just that instead of acting it out in the environment, you act it out internally.
Inside your head. And having more self-compassion leads to a greater growth response. Like, you can learn more from your mistakes because you're not berating yourself. You're not wasting your time with useless things like telling yourself you're a piece of shit for the millionth time.
Yeah.
You're actually looking for solutions to that.
And you can also reach solutions more quickly. You know, you're not wasting a lot of time of that day obsessing over the negative aspects. You're more capable of moving on more quickly. So you can get back into things and the way, and you can get back into how you want things to be more readily.
Yeah, and overall it increases your self-esteem, and that's the end goal of everyone in life, right?
Agreed. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Well, that was this video. If you liked it, then give the video a like, subscribe to our channel, and share it if you think there's anyone who needs to hear this. Bye. Thanks, everyone.